Please be seated. Good afternoon. I am Bruce Keppen, and I have the privilege of serving as the Dean of the Frank H. Netter, MD School of Medicine at Quinnipiac University. I would like to welcome our students, their family and friends, the faculty, representatives from our affiliated clinical institutions, and guests to the White Coat ceremony for the members of the class of 2019. Before we begin, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge and recognize some of the many people who have helped us get to this day. In the audience today, we have members of the university's Board of Trustees, the School of Medicine's Board of Visitors, and a number of generous benefactors. I am grateful for their meaningful support, which strengthens the foundation of our future and ensures top quality academic experiences for our students. Next, I would like to acknowledge the institutions that will be helping to train our students. Our clinical education partners are St. Vincent's Medical Center in Bridgeport. They are our principal clinical partner. Connecticut Children's Medical Center in Hartford, Gaylord Hospital in Wallingford, Griffin Hospital in Derby, Jewish Senior Services in Fairfield, Masonic Care of Wallingford, Midstate Medical Center, Meriden, Middlesex Hospital, Middletown, Mount Sinai Rehabilitation Hospital, which is located in Hartford and part of St. Francis Care, St. Mary's Hospital, Waterbury, Waterbury Hospital, Waterbury, and hundreds of private practice physicians across this state. We also have some critical research partners: Connecticut Agricultural Experiment Station in New Haven, Hartford Hospital in Hartford, the Weitzman Quality Institute at Community Health Center of Middletown, and Qualidyme, located in Wethersfield. At this time, I would ask the faculty of the School of Medicine, both on the stage and in the audience, to please stand and be recognized. Would the administrative staff of the School of Medicine also please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Dr. Kim Pham, our Dean of Students, Dr. Nathan Davis, our Assistant Dean of Students, Brittany Vogel, and a host of people from the Dean's Office merit special thanks for organizing all of this week's orientation activities and especially this ceremony. Thank you all. At this time, I would ask Dr. Annalisa Zinn, the university's Vice President for Academic Innovation and Effectiveness, to come to the podium and provide greetings from the leadership of Quinnipiac University.
Thank you. It is a joy to welcome you to Quinnipiac University. Thank you for choosing to become part of our community. Your presence, your intelligence, your commitment to excellence, your service to others will enrich us. And I hope that in return, you will be assured, you will experience the support of an entire university community, a community that places education in the health professions, in medicine, core to our mission. I hope that you will really experience a medical school education, a medical school experience that emphasizes student learning, that places you at the center. Please be assured that your experience embodies the core values of our university, values that we hold very dearly, the values of academic excellence, of a student-oriented education, and of a strong sense of community. Please be assured that you will have an experience that will enable you to achieve your highest personal and professional potential. I thank you also for choosing the profession that you are embarking on, to choosing medical school. I am grateful for what you will be serving to your patients, in the future, to the communities that you will serve, both as a student and in the future. I look forward to the day when my doctor will be a Quinnipiac-educated MD, preferably from the class of 2019. So welcome again at Quinnipiac. It really is a joy that you are one of us.
Thank you, Dr. Zinn. I would now like to take a few minutes to address you, the members of the class of 2019, and then also your family and friends who are here with you today. First, to the class of 2019. First and foremost, congratulations. I know you worked long and hard to be sitting where you are today. As Dean of the School of Medicine, let me be the first to welcome each and every one of you into the profession of medicine. You are an elite group. You have been selected from a pool of over 7,500 applicants. Beginning today and continuing throughout your careers in medicine, you will engage in a process called professional identity formation. Dr. Mark Holden, an internist at the University of Texas Medical Branch, defines this process as, and I'll quote, the transformative journey through which one integrates the knowledge, skills, values, and behaviors of a competent humanistic physician with one's own unique identity and core values. This continuous process fosters personal and professional growth through mentorship, self-reflection, and experiences that affirm the best practices, traditions, and ethics of the medical profession. The formation of your professional identity doesn't just happen. It takes your full engagement and work. Some of this will be easy, but some of this will be very hard. Your faculty will help you, but they cannot form your professional identity. That requires your effort that includes finding and working with mentors and constant self-reflection. Your professional identity will not be fully formed when you graduate from this medical school. You will continue to shape it during your residency training and during your entire career in medicine. Our white coat ceremony publicly marks the beginning of the process of forming your professional identity. However, there is more. I know classes do not start until next Monday, but I want to give you a homework assignment today. Over the weekend, I want you to compose, and actually you don't need to write it out, but I would encourage you to do so. But what I'd like you to compose is the speech you would like to hear at your retirement dinner after a career in medicine. Perhaps the person giving that speech is your son or daughter. Would they say, for example, "My mother was a devoted parent, but this never detracted from her care of patients. Instead, it enhanced their care because she was motivated to instill in me the importance of devoting one's career to positively impacting the lives of others." You make it up. It's your speech to write. That can serve as a guide for your development of your professional identity. Hopefully you get the idea, and hopefully you will actually take the time to complete this assignment. It will not be collected, and it will not be graded. But it will be the first reflective step you will take on your journey that begins today, the journey to become a physician and the forming of your professional identity. Now to family and friends. Be proud of your special member of the class of 2019. They sit before you today because they have achieved much. But I know, and they do as well, that they did not do it alone. They had your love and support, especially during the hard times. Please don't consider your job as being finished. They are still going to need your support and love because they still have many challenges ahead. So continue to be there for them. Sometimes all it takes is a phone call or even an encouraging text message just before the big exam. Be there for them and start getting ready for the day they complete their journey here at the Netter School and walk across the stage at commencement to receive their diploma. Be there so you can proudly call them Doctor. Thank you. I would now ask Dr. Michael Ellison, the Associate Dean for Admissions, to come to the podium to introduce our keynote speaker.
Good afternoon. Dr. Stephen B. Narrant is a sole practitioner and founder of Westport Family Medicine, a division of Northeast Medical Group which provides health care services to the entire family, from infants to elderly. B. Narrant is also an associate clinical professor in Quinnipiac University's nurse practitioner program, Drexel University's Physician Assistance Program, and Columbia University Family Practice Residency. A graduate of New York Medical College, he completed his residency in family medicine at Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons at Stanford Hospital in Connecticut, where he served as chief resident. He is board certified by the American Academy of Family Physicians and is a 7-time recipient of their Compassionate Physician Award as determined by the Healthgrades and Vitals.com. Most recently, he was honored with the 2014 Physician of the Year Award for patient satisfaction by ranking among the 99th percentile of physicians nationally, according to Press Ganey scoring. Ben Durant served as preceptor this year for the Frank H. Netter MD School of Medicine's Medical Student Home Program and will do so again this fall. The class of 2018 chose him as keynote speaker for today's program in recognition of his extensive clinical knowledge and his outstanding interpersonal and teaching skills. Please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker for the day, Dr. Stephen Narrant.
Good afternoon, thank you. Actually, that gives me a chance to say something. Last name is Benaderet, and it's a tough one to pronounce, but interestingly enough, literally translated, it is son of a cloaked or tunicked man, which is ironic because I'm going to cloak all of you today. I also noticed before I get to my prepared remarks that this is kind of a crossroads for me. It's a very interesting time because up in the audience is a doctor who trained me when I was a resident. And over there in the audience is a doctor who helped me literally open the door of my practice as I first started with 0 patients and opened the door and said, I'm open for business. And then in the audience right there, which I can't point exactly because of HIPAA, is one of my patients who is starting as a first year with all of you. So this is a great crossroads for me, and it also just shows you how we are a community. Now, back to what I was actually going to say. I'd like to welcome the families, friends, faculty, and staff to today's White Coat ceremony. And most importantly, congratulate the Frank Netter School of Medicine class of 2019, all of you. Today's White Coat ceremony is a small but significant step on your journey into your chosen profession of medicine. To have arrived here today, you have shown yourselves to be intelligent, resourceful, and eager. But nobody gets here alone. So as you don your white coats for the first time today, you do so as an acknowledgement to your family, friends, significant others who have supported you along your journey. When I was asked to speak today, I was honored. However, I can't lie, as that emotion quickly turned to fear. Nothing as simple as stage fright, although I've got a little. Trust me, my friends, families, and students will tell you I'm not shy and I love to talk. I was nervous because I want to say something that might inspire you in the next 4 years. I wanted to say something that may bolster you during the tough times in the next 4 years. Or say something that resonates with each of you to achieve something you didn't know you could in the next 4 years. But then I realized, as a sense of calm washed over me, that some tricky turn of phrase wasn't what I needed. since you already have all the tools necessary to thrive. And it is those tools that have brought you here today, your white coat ceremony. Today you will receive your white coat, the traditional symbol of the physician for over a century. Its white coat and color reflective of purity and cleanliness. The coat itself often viewed as a cloak of the learned and compassionate. Its pockets stuffed full of every tool, book, pen you can cram into them on the off chance you get asked a question you have no idea the answer to. Don't worry, never happened to your kids. We have grown up seeing this white coat in iconic images, such as Norman Rockwell's painting of a pediatrician giving a vaccine to his brave young patient in the butt, no less. First seen being worn by Dr. Hayes Agnew as he performed surgery in front of his students at the dawn of antisepsis in medicine in the portrait The Agnew Clinic by Thomas Eking, and best worn by a dreamy George Clooney in the award-winning show ER. Your white coat's outward appearance is very well established. But what about the inside of your white coat? What is in the part that is not visible to the outside world? What's unique about the inside of the coat? The inside is the part that touches you. It is your daily reminder of where your coat derives its power, from you. Your coat is the reminder of the covenant between you and your patient. It is the symbol of your unending compassion. It is a promise to serve your patients and put their needs ahead of your own. It is your duty to pursue expertise and to remain ever vigilant. It is your responsibility to preserve life when possible, or to help guide your patients with dignity when illness overwhelms their bodies. It is a tradition that today you become a part of. Now, having said all of that, I have come to realize that tradition is a funny thing. For example, my mother's 50-year-old mashed potato recipe tasted just a little bit better at Thanksgiving 2 years ago when I added a touch of blue cheese to it. You can try that. Fortunately, tradition is only meant to be a foundation for new generations. It longs to be improved, tweaked, if you will. If it were not for these little tweaks, this would be a much smaller ceremony, since the young ladies here today would not have been able to attend medical school. Illegible, handwritten prescriptions, undecipherable but to a pharmacist, would not have been replaced by the safety of electronic prescriptions. And colon cancer rates for local disease, as quoted in my father's 1955 edition of Cecil and Loeb's Textbook of Medicine, would not have risen from a dismal 30% to 90%, thus saving tens of thousands of more lives annually. So with that in mind, let's tweak the traditional definition of a white coat. Imagine, if you will, just for a moment, that your white coat is not unlike that warm, cozy patchwork quilt on your grandmother's couch that you've wrapped yourself into 1,000 times. The patches themselves are incomplete, but stitched together, they create a wonderful whole. Your experiences over the next 4 years will help create the patches that will be woven together to bring your white coat's true appearance into focus for the world to see. Much of your coat's appearance will be shaped by the people who surround you in the arena today. The professors, administrators, and staff here at the Frank Netter School of Medicine who will prepare you for your future encounters with your patients. Your shared experience in late hours studying and preparing with your fellow students. The knowledge you will glean from the medical community as a whole, whether they be your preceptors, nurses, techs, dietitians, physician's assistants. But most importantly, your coat's appearance will be shaped by the multitudes of interactions you will have with your patients. By the end of your time here, your coat will be filled with emotionless patches, the joyous and sorrowful, the humorous and mundane, the extraordinary and inexplicable. But it will be these moments that will define your coat and your covenant with your patients. For me, my coat is patched together with incredible experiences during my career. While delivering a baby, I watched as a weary father began to falter as his new daughter entered the world. I asked the dad if he wanted to cut the cord. Without a word, he waved off the time-honored tradition, and before I could even begin to make the cut, the first-time mom sits bolt upright, grabs the scissors, and says, "I'll do it." Creation of a new family taking place right in front of my eyes. On my first overnight shift in a hospital, there was not one, not two, but 3 code blues called, and sadly, none survived. I still can remember the disappointment I felt that we could not save any of those patients, and thinking, this was not what was advertised when I signed up to be a doctor. How could modern medicine have such a bad night? Spending time with one of my patients and his family from Uruguay, who were gracious enough to invite me to dinner at their house. My patient was dying of cancer, had no treatment options left, but he wanted to thank me for my care in the only way he could, feed me. As I sat at a table enjoying food and desperately trying to translate all that was being said around, one thing rang out over and over: gracias, thank you. I was saddened that my patient would soon pass, but overwhelmed by the outpouring of gratitude they expressed for what care I had provided. The excitement I felt to start my first obstetrics and gynecology rotation, and the willpower it took not to chuckle when I realized the doctors I would be working were named Dicker, Wiener, and Foley. I kid you not. I also had the privilege of doing a GI rotation with Dr. Biener. The pride I felt when receiving a letter from a patient telling me how annoying I was. I bugged her incessantly for weeks until she scheduled a colonoscopy. A 1-centimeter adenocarcinoma was found and removed surgically. A 2-day hospital stay, no other treatments. She is now 7 years cancer-free and still tells me how annoying I am. And I couldn't be any happier. And finally, one of you in the audience is now part of my white coat, as you've been given a stethoscope in the memory of my father, who was a wonderful family physician, and my inspiration to join the medical profession. This lucky person in your class will be glad to know that I'm tweaking my father's tradition of buying bright red stethoscopes because he was colorblind and thought they were gray. Don't worry, yours is blue. These are but a few small examples of the patches I wear on my white coat with great pride. Yours will be unique to your experience and will become the basis from which your white coat derives its power, the power to heal the mind, body, and soul for both your patient and you. In conclusion, I would like to quote the most famous doctor I know, Theodore Geisel, who is better known as Dr. Seuss, from his book, Oh, the Places You'll Go. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places, you're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Benaderet, for those inspiring remarks. We are now at the point in the ceremony where the members of the class of 2019 receive their white coat and stethoscope. Dr. Kim Pham, Associate Dean for Medical Student Affairs, will lead this portion of the ceremony.
Will the first group of faculty please step forward to begin the cloaking process? Charles Collier, Assistant Dean for Health Career Pathways, and Dean Keppen will be presenting each participant with his stethoscope or her stethoscope. The stethoscope, said to have been invented in Paris in 1816, is a more respectful method of assessing the heart than placing ear to chest, has become a potent symbol of the physical connection between patient and physician. Please come forward. Thank you. Srijan Adikan. Aziz Akinlolu. Derek Armstrong. And Natasha Babar. Nicole Barami. Okay, thank you. Please proceed to your right. All right, thank you. Dennis Barban. Colin Bealsreed. Artie Boken. Thank you. Joshua Bolanos and Trevor Borys. Yuri Brito. Rocky Campbell. Chris Caracciolo. Jeremy Carroll. Daniel Castellane. Rishi Chada. Sarah Chu. Molly Clark. Alexa Cohn. Michael Dabrowski. Ryan Denkowitz. Joseph Devlin. William Duzan. Alex Herbella. Scott Irwin. Corinne Eugenio. Josh Finley. Elliot Fox. Zachary Friedman. Marissa Gosshorn. Isaiah Ho. Norbert Hotzman. Daniel Jameson. Rachel King. Jonathan Koppel. Eric Q. Derek Lejeune. Dylan Levy. Kayla McGrath. Angelo Malazzi. Greg Maltzberg. Seyu Meniscus. Paul McCabe. Emily Mills. Arya Minay. Mevish Mirza. Paul Montana. Samantha Moore. Miriam Nathan. Gregory Newman. Alvin Heng. Matthew O'Brien. Bianca Patel. Roshni Patel. Shilja Patel. Zachary Patinkin. Sean Panetti. Andrew Peterson. Andy Pham. Aruna Peko. Alexander Plachaki. Jerome Pomerantz. Christina Pratt. Mark Keelan. Gabrielle Ransford. Kathleen Renkoziak. Joshua Rismani. Josh Rocky. Farah Saleh. Enrico Scarpelli. Shana Schreiber. Palak Shah. Michael Smith. Devin Susia. Eleanor Stein. Zach Steinman. Catherine Sudal. Calvin Sung. Tali Swisher. Fahad Syed. Babak Tadian. Matthew Taft. Mark Tarsillo. And Jared Thomas. Allison Travers. Justin Van Horbeck. Hubert Wang. Richard Wong. Kevin Wu. Jun Tu Zen. John Edward Franklin Zobian.
All right, class.
At this point, Dr. Alan Atsuki, Senior Associate Dean for Education, will lead the members of the class of 2019 in the Hippocratic Oath. It is in your program. Any physician on stage or in the audience who would like to also take the oath again at this point, please stand as well.
So class, before we start, I just ask that you'll have a chance to recite this, obviously, but after this, in the next couple of days, take just 5 minutes and read this again slowly and think about it. There's a lot of, I think, wonderful wisdom in this that will help you be a giving and a wonderful, caring physician. So please take some time afterwards. So this is how we're going to do this. I'm going to say a phrase, and then you'll repeat it. I'll say another phrase, and then you'll repeat it, and so on. All right? All right. I swear to fulfill, to the best of my ability and judgment, this covenant. I will respect the hard-won scientific gains of those physicians in whose steps I walk. And gladly share such knowledge as is mine with those who are to follow. I will apply for the benefit of the sick all measures that are required. Avoiding those twin traps of overtreatment and therapeutic nihilism. I will remember that there is art to medicine as well as science. And that warmth, sympathy, and understanding may outweigh the surgeon's knife or the chemist's drug. I will not be ashamed to say, I know not. Nor will I fail to call in my colleagues when the skills of another are needed for a patient's recovery. I will respect the privacy of my patients, for their problems are not disclosed to me that the world may know. Most especially must I tread with care in matters of life and death. If it is given to me to save a life, all thanks. But it may also be within my power to take a life. This awesome responsibility must be faced with great humbleness and awareness of my own frailty. Above all, I must not play at God. I will remember that I do not treat a fever chart, a cancerous growth. But a sick human being whose illness may affect the person's family and economic stability. My responsibility includes these related problems if I am to care adequately for the sick. I will prevent disease whenever I can, for prevention is preferable to cure. I will remember that I remain a member of society with special obligations to all my fellow human beings, those sound of mind and body, as well as the infirm. If I do not violate this oath, may I enjoy life and art. Respected while I live and remembered with affection thereafter. May I always act so as to preserve the finest traditions of my calling. And may I long experience the joy of healing those who seek my help. Congratulations. You may be seated.
Now that you have settled back in, I would ask you to rise again. I present to you the class of 2019 of the Frank H. Netter, MD, School of Medicine.